Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. So today we are doing a review of a foundation that I was extremely excited about for the launch of. It looked incredible and it's by one of my favorite brands by an incredible makeup artist. And we're going to be looking at the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin, let me just get the name right way around, Blurring Balm Powder. I have semi-tried this, but I'll get into it later. Let me just show you what I got first. I got 4 different shades because I wanted to be 100% sure that I was going to have a shade that fit me. One of them including the universal, so not really a shade. And it says that you can use not just this one, all the shades on face and eyes. I did use this one when I first got the package, just out of sheer excitement. And I used it on my nose and my forehead. It definitely blurred. I didn't do a wear test though because I washed my face not long after. Not to get the product off, just because it was early in the morning. I got shade 2, which was slightly too light for me. You can see I have swatched them all, but this one would be good around my eyes, so we'll try it around my eye area. So shade 3 was my match, and you can see I've definitely been in there with a brush. And shade 4 was just very slightly too dark. If I get a good tan, this will be my shade, but I was using this around the edges of my face almost as a bronzer. Just before we get into the review, if this is your first time here, hi, my name is Robert. I'm a professional makeup artist here on YouTube and also in the real world. Even before I was doing YouTube, this is my goal to help you become a pro yourself or just someone who's really good at makeup. So if that sounds like something you are interested in, do please consider subscribing. So as I mentioned, I did what I would consider a quick test with this product. On the day, here's why I don't consider it a good test. On the day, my skin was extremely dehydrated. It was dry here, dry here, dry here. Dehydrated in those areas. I didn't prep my skin correctly. I actually just use a hydrating mist and then whacked it on, which isn't how I prep my skin. I usually just use a serum and go on with the foundation. It went on fine. It did cling to some dry areas around here and here. Dehydrated areas around here and here. However, when my oils got involved, because I'm an oily person, looked absolutely fine. Later on in the evening, I got to a restaurant. I went for dinner with friends about 7:30. Or was it 7? 7. And I ended up taking off my makeup around 12 midnight. That's the latest I've been out, by the way, in probably years. And there was some areas that did look a little bit textured around here and here. But that's, to me, not prepping my skin how I usually would anyway. My way of prepping my skin, as you all know, just serum. Yes, okay, so should we just get straight into it? I'm going to be using the number 3 on my whole face, number 4 around the edges, number 2 under the eyes, number 1, like I said, I tried universal. I'll wear that on a day when I don't really want to wear makeup. Okay, so number 3, I have prepped my skin as I usually do with some serum. I have seen Danessa Myricks herself use the C41 brush from Rose and Ben, so, you know, why not? So initial impressions of this foundation when I tried it the first time, and I do have to say it was a very rushed test. I think I got a little bit carried away with the texture. It goes on quite lightweight and almost undetectable, but you can definitely build it up to look like a foundation. You can see on my cheeks there, it's covered that redness. If I keep blending almost, it will sheer out a little bit as well. Let me do that for you. There you go. So you can see the redness comes back a tiny bit. But if I just pack it on like this, which is how I usually like to use like a cream or a balm, is by pressing it into the skin. On my nose, I'll use a different brush because I can't quite get the angle. A bit of a bigger nose, you see. It doesn't smell like makeup, but then it also doesn't smell like anything much, but there is a slight smell to it, but nothing crazy. I guess it just smells like cream, a cream foundation. So that goes on really nicely with this brush. And you can see I'm just tapping. And I'm actually going to take a smaller brush and just get in those areas. Oh, nose here. And I'm going to build up the coverage a little bit more on the bridge of my nose here because I do get some redness up there. So this shade is almost a little bit too light, but we're going to bronze it up a little bit so I don't mind too much. I need a mirror. I can't see. Who am I kidding? One thing about this foundation as well, my friend who I was out for dinner with, who's a makeup artist as well, she said my skin looked really good, and that was at the end of the evening. So that's always a nice thing when a makeup artist says your skin looks nice and you're trying a new foundation. Okay, so that's enough coverage for me. I think that looks nice. It feels really good on the skin. It's a bit of a strange one because it's a balm. You think, oh, you know, it's going to be hydrating and whatever, but it is a powdery balm. Excuse me. Oh my God. So it is a little bit more, it does feel a little bit more Dry is not the right word because it isn't uncomfortably dry. It doesn't feel greasy is probably the word I'm looking for. Okay, so I'm going to take this brush. This is from e.l.f. This is for their putty bronzer. I'm just going to put that in shade number 4. And I'm going to build that up around the edges. Actually, you know what? I just cleaned that recently. It's a little bit wet. So let's just use a brush we used before. And I'm literally just going to use this how I would use the bronzer. I am going to take it slightly further in because this shade is a little bit lighter for me. Is this foundation? Like, would you consider it foundation? Because I believe it can be used in multiple ways. Well, I probably should have mentioned that at the beginning of the video. That's fine. Yeah, so I'm just going to blend that in. That's much better. Okay, so let me just read what the website says about this balm. It's a texture-reducing, coverage-boosting, blurring balm that balances oils throughout the day while maintaining hydration. So it's a cutting-edge technology, balances sebum and reduces oil throughout the day for a natural cleaning glow. This petal-like texture feels like a balm but sets like a powder for a long-lasting shine-free look. It says you can use it to prime, to highlight and contour, to set foundation, to add sheer coverage, to set and add coverage. So you can use it for pretty much everything. I'm using it as a foundation now. Oh, you know what? Let's use the lighter shade, number 2, and let's just add a very gentle highlight, nothing too crazy. Then use an eyeshadow blending brush just to blend that in. It's very smooth to apply. I do really like the way it applies. It's so soft. Blend in those edges here. So I'm having one issue and it's around my nose here. It actually doesn't look too bad, but you can see I have some flakiness on my nose. That's my actual skin. I really need to exfoliate desperately on my nose, but everywhere else I'm feeling like I have a nice glow. To the skin, it looks pretty smooth. So what I'm gonna do is refocus my camera. And then I'm going to do some eye makeup, some blush, all things like that. I'm going to use all Danessa Myricks products. So I have a Lightwork Volume 3. You know what? I'm going to make a TikTok. So I'll just pop the TikTok on the screen here so you can watch me do it. I should be about an hour because I'm just going to take my time. I'm going to watch some YouTube, do whatever. Okay, so I've just done a whole look using all Danessa Myricks products, which I think I would have put in the thing if I decide to keep it. The foundation's held on quite well. My nose is looking extremely dry, like really dry. But the rest of my face is looking absolutely fine. So I'm going to put that down to my skin condition underneath. I'm going to put in a wear test so you can see my skin on a better day and see once I've exfoliated and actually done correct skincare. So I'll put that in right here. Okay, so this is my wear test. It is 9:51 to be really precise in the morning. I did exfoliate my nose, so it is sitting a little bit better. I didn't go full coverage on my nose. You can still see some skin showing through, which is fine. I keep saying full coverage, but this is this kind of a foundation, kind of not. It's kind of whatever. I am noticing it is, let me just focus here. It is a little bit drier on my cheeks, and when I look a little bit close at my cheeks, it's it seems a bit dry, but it's not heavily textured. It's very comfortable on my skin, and here, this looks like acceptable skin. Maybe I will do a little bit more on my nose here, actually. Okay, I've done a little bit more coverage on my nose. It's a really strange one. I'm kind of at the moment, at this stage, I'm caught in this in-between of whether or not I like this on my skin, because sometimes I look at areas of my skin and I feel like it's kind of caught there and gathered there, like around my nose here. It blends in some areas, in some areas it doesn't. I've exfoliated my nose. I've used my serum like always. And actually I've used a Yummy Skin serum, which I really like. And I've seen that being used alongside with it as well. It's like, it's sitting on my nose fine. I'm just a little bit concerned. I don't know what it is. Like, I'm happy. Like, if someone was like, you have to use this, I'd be like, yeah, fine, that's great. I can do that. It's a really strange one. Right. This is definitely a case of I'll have to get back to you once this is sat on my skin. This is fine at the moment. I can just see some areas in my mind. This is what I'm thinking. And I can just see some areas that look powdery and like it's gripping to my skin. So we will see in a few hours how it's looking. I'm recording today for my joint channel with James. When I get a chance to record an update, I will. Okay, so it is an hour later and my skin still looks absolutely fine. My nose has improved. I was a little bit worried about the dryness. I have noticed the dryness is around this area. I still think it's my skin that is the issue, because everywhere else, this foundation looks absolutely amazing. I'm extremely, extremely oily as a person in general. My forehead, I mean, where's the shine? It's a tiny, tiny, smallest bit shiny, and that's it. And not even like, to me, in real life, it still looks matte. It still looks completely matte, and this is an hour. People with oily skin, an hour. My forehead. Usually after 10 minutes, it's completely shiny, completely oily. One thing I thought, right, I applied this and I thought, you know what? I think I've applied too much, and maybe it's too much coverage, but I have noticed, you see this faint yellow mark here? That's a bruise on my face, and you can still see it through. So I haven't applied too much. I thought it was maybe too much. I don't care that that's showing, because I don't like full coverage. And if I wanted full coverage, I do feel like I could just put on concealer, maybe a little bit of this. It has, of course, creased through the eye sockets. It's my belief that only eye primers will last in the socket, you know? But that's fine. I personally wouldn't use it as that anyway. But if you were going to use it on the eyelids, maybe do be aware that it could crease as well. But so far, it's really good. It does still feel a little bit dry on my cheeks. That to me isn't bad. As an oily person, I do like a drier feeling. Not dry as in like, oh my God, but I do like a tighter feeling, but not uncomfortably so. And this isn't very uncomfortable at all. And it isn't like dry texture, like it still looks like skin. I would, if I wasn't doing a wear test, I would probably powder my nose a little bit now. Just because my nose is getting a little bit shiny, but I didn't put as much product on my nose as I did my forehead. And I would maybe add a contour, because I'm looking quite flat in general. But yes, so far so good. I am very, very impressed at how long it has sat on my forehead. And even my nose, I mean, that's not terribly shiny or oily, and it's not much difference to how it was when I first put it on. Yeah, so far so good. I'm just going to look close up. You know what? I would even go as far as to say maybe I would use a hydrating mist on top of this right now, because it is a little bit drier. On a drier skin, it does make me wonder how this would sit, being a powdery kind of product, powdery balm. But yeah, so as a foundation, so far, it's acting pretty good. And there's a whole pile of brushes that I need to clean. Don't look. Right, let me actually see how it is. James, stop making noise.
Sorry. Can I have it?
Why don't you shut up? Right, no, actually serious.
Yeah, no,
okay, so it looks fine. Okay, so it's been about 4 hours. And you know what, it actually doesn't look that bad. Around my nose is still a little bit of a trouble area. Like, it looks shiny. I wouldn't say it looks completely greasy. But I'm definitely dehydrated in this area here and this area here. And I really do put a lot of the wear down to how my skin condition at the moment, because it's not the best. But looking at my forehead, looking at my cheeks, I wouldn't say it's greasy in any way, would you say, James? Since you're skulking around my room.
Not greasy at all.
I don't think it's greasy. My nose looks a bit shiny. Like, now I would put powder on it if this was like, if I wasn't doing the wear test again. But actually, it's still not that bad. I do think my skin isn't the best condition at the moment. But considering like how it sat for hours and hours as an oily person, this doesn't look greasy or shiny, and it's still really comfortable on the face. That tight feeling is kind of gone now. I do want to mention as well, I was watching some people's reviews for this, and I'll leave their videos down below because they do really thorough reviews as well, and a different skin type, so I'll leave a link to theirs. And there was one lady who was trying it, and she has really oily skin, and when she put it on, her skin looked really nice and shiny, and when I put it on, it was instantly matte. So I really don't think my skin is in its best form at the moment, let's just say. I just wanted to add that in there before I get to mention it. But yeah, so far so good. Okay, it's a good few hours later, or more than a few hours later, and I've actually been sweating. So I have to say it's held up really well, apart from in this area here, where it's separated a tiny bit, and it is looking a tiny bit, the smallest amount textured, but I have been sweating, and I haven't used any like powders throughout the day, anything like that. This has held up really incredibly well. What's time 9? So it's been about 7 hours, and it's sitting really, really well. I would be happy with that. If this was my makeup at the end of the day, I would be extremely happy. I even feel like I could go on top with a little bit more if I primed it better, mattified it more. This would be really good. So after 7 hours, this is how it's looking. I think it's okay. Obviously my nose has kind of come off a little bit. I didn't use it, but look how, I mean, my forehead is still pretty, for an oily person, that's still pretty good. And you can see the coverage and the colour is still very much here. It looks good. Cool. Okay, well, back to me. Okay, well, I would love to know your opinions below. I do really like this foundation and I will keep using it. I do have to bear in mind, and I think you should bear in mind also when you're using a foundation, your skin prep, I think, is very key to this, especially if your skin is more dehydrated. Yeah, do bear that in mind. But I haven't really considered this a struggle. Like with some foundations, I kind of struggle to get it working. I know what's wrong in this situation. So yes, I would love to know your opinions below. Thank you so much for joining me. Please do consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.